Hey guys! In Total War 3 Kingdoms cinematic trailer, we can see that one of Dongzhuo's champions fighting like an unstoppable god. His name is Lü Bu. He was unanimously agreed as the most dominant warrior in 3 Kingdoms period. In the next short 9 years, he killed the tyrant Dongzhuo, almost destroyed the founder of Wei Kingdom, Cao Cao, defeated the founder of Shu Kingdom, Liu Bei, twice, but died a terrible death in the end. Lü Bu was born in Jiuyuan County in Bing State. This place is located at the north border of China, where the war was constantly ravaged by North nomadic people. Therefore, the people there were generally good fighters. But unlike other famous champions at the time, Lü Bu's career started from a civil service officer under the warlord Ding Yuan. Father killer. In the book Romance of 3 Kingdoms, Ding Yuan was Lü Bu's adoptive father, but in real history, he was not. They were very close, just like father and son, but it wasn't an adoptive relationship. Later, Ding Yuan became a problem for the tyrant Dongzhuo. Therefore, Dongzhuo induced Lü Bu into betraying Ding Yuan and killing him. This gave Lü Bu infamy of a person who kills his master and father. Basically, this is a very bad start for Lü Bu. It caused a lot of problems later. After that, Lü Bu became Dongzhuo's adoptive son, his bodyguard, and his best general. A coalition of warlords was formed to fight him, but because of their internal conflicts and Dongzhuo's retreat to Chang'an, the coalition was dissolved itself. Lü Bu later was instigated by Wang Yun into assassinating Dongzhuo. This Wang Yun was the minister over the masses, which was one of the top 3 high-ranking officials of the imperial government. He set up a honey trap to provoke conflicts between Dongzhuo and Lü Bu by arranging his gorgeous adoptive daughter, Diao Chan, to meet both of them. It worked very well. They both loved her, they both wanted to marry her, and they both were promised marriage. Wang Yun then sent Diao Chan to Dongzhuo, but he told Lü Bu that Dongzhuo took her by force. Lü Bu obviously got very angry. He then convinced Lü Bu to kill Dongzhuo not only for his fiancée, but also Dongzhuo was the tyrant, and he must be eliminated to save Han Dynasty. Since Dongzhuo trusts Lü Bu very much, so it was an easy kill for Lü Bu. This was the second time Lü Bu killed his master and adoptive father, which made his infamy even worse. However, in fairness, he did kill the #1 villain of the country. The truth is that the honey trap story was made up. Diao Chan was not even a real human name. It is a kind of accessory which officials in Han wore on their hat. In real history, Lü Bu might have sexual relationship with one of Dongzhuo's maids. It was bad, but not totally unacceptable. Novelists say Lü Bu killed Dongzhuo because of a girl. It is more for making dramatic conflicts and character building. The unmatchable general. After Dongzhuo's death, because of Wang Yun's inappropriate management of Dongzhuo's followers, Wang Yun was killed by Li Jue and Guo Si, and Lü Bu was defeated and escaped from Chang'an. Lü Bu then spending the next 2 years on wandering around warlords such as Yuan Shu, Yuan Shao, and Zhang Yan. Because of his infamy of a father and master killer, he was not trusted by any of those warlords. He still defeated the warlord Zhang Yan by his mighty force and took over his army, but besides that, he didn't make any further development. Things quickly changed when warlord Cao Cao started to attack the governor Tao Qian, who controlled the state of Shu. Some of Cao Cao's subordinates started a rebellion and invited Lü Bu to be their master. Lü Bu had great success in the beginning. He conquered most of Cao Cao's territory when he was away fighting Tao Qian. At one point, there were only 3 counties left to completely wipe Cao Cao off the map. Cao Cao quickly led his army back to Yan, but both sides couldn't overcome each other. They were locked in a stalemate for over 100 days. In this period, the state of Yan was plagued by locusts and droughts. Therefore, the food supply became a big problem for both sides. Cao Cao almost gave up. He even seriously considered to seek shelter under warlord Yuan Shao. His advisor Cheng Yu convinced him to continue the war. Since Cao Cao ruled Yan state for a longer time, he still had more supporters. His supply was a little bit better, which made a huge difference. In the Battle of Puyang, Cao Cao sent 6 of his best generals to fight Lü Bu, but still couldn't defeat him. Lü Bu later retreated because of fatigue, but he escaped unscathed. Plus the time in Hulao Gate, Lü Bu fought the 3 brothers, Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, and Liu Bei at the same time, and still stayed in the fight for a while until retreated unscathed. This is scary, guys. You must know that all those above mentioned guys were the top 10 champions at the time. It is ridiculously difficult to even fight any 2 of them at the same time and still alive. But Lü Bu could fight 3 or even 6 of them at the same time. He was absolutely the best fighter in the era. However, too bad, the fight was made up by Romance of 3 Kingdoms. This is war we're talking about here. It's killing or be killed between tens of thousands of people. It is impossible that all the soldiers just standing there watch their generals fighting alone. Additionally, sometimes we forget all this happened almost 2,000 years ago. Stirrups was not even invented in the age of Han, so it is impossible for champions to wave long and heavy handheld weapons while horseback riding. The cavalry unit did exist at the time, but they normally fought with bows and arrows. In real history, all those wars were real. The story was real, but those fights between generals are mostly made up for a better dramatic story. Okay, let's go back to Lü Bu. A retaliation of Cao Cao's supporters occurred in Puyang, and Lü Bu was locked out from the city. Then Lü Bu lost 2 important battles in Juye and Dingtao. He was forced to leave the state of Yan and took shelter under Liu Bei. I believe Liu Bei didn't want to accept Lü Bu because he did betray and kill 2 of his previous masters, Dong Zhuo and Ding Yuan, although maybe they deserved to die. However, Lü Bu's fame of the tyrant Dong Zhuo killer also means he was a hero to a lot of people. Liu Bei claimed that he was fighting for the revival of Han Dynasty, while Lü Bu is the hero of Han Dynasty, which made it difficult for Liu Bei to say no to Lü Bu, especially when Lü Bu was just defeated by the new tyrant Cao Cao. He treated Lü Bu with respect and gave Xiao Pei to him to station his army. Later, Yuan Shu attacked Liu Bei from the south, and Liu Bei was forced to react. And you guess what? This happening again. Yuan Shu instigated Lü Bu to take over the state of Xu, while Liu Bei was away with most of his army. Lü Bu beat the hand that fed him. He sneak attacked the capital city of Xu, Xiapi, and took over Liu Bei's territory. Liu Bei later surrendered to him due to desperation. Lü Bu, as a host this time, did exactly what Liu Bei did. He gave Liu Bei Xiao Pei to station his army. After that, warlord Yuan Shu declared himself emperor and founded Zhong Dynasty. This move was hated by everybody. He smelled danger, so he wanted to form an alliance with Lü Bu. Lü Bu initially agreed to it, but later changed his mind. The reason is the Han imperial government, which was controlled by Cao Cao, appointed Lü Bu as the general of left, gave him an official promotion. This meant 2 things for Lü Bu. He was very pleased to get a promotion from the emperor, and more importantly, this gave him an impression that Cao Cao was not viewing him as enemy. Therefore, the alliance with Yuan Shu was not only unnecessary for Lü Bu, but also it would cause a war between him and Cao Cao. Obviously, it was more important to Lü Bu to have a friendly Cao Cao than a friendly Yuan Shu. Yuan Shu was furious that Lü Bu reneged on his words. He even tried to send an army to attack Lü Bu, but was defeated. Within 1 year later, Lü Bu changed his mind again. He reformed this alliance with the self-appointed Emperor Yuan Shu. We don't know why he changed his mind. My guess is that he worried his beef history with Cao Cao. He believes Cao Cao will eventually revenge on the battles in Yan State, so he needed more friends. He also did something terribly wrong. He didn't like Liu Bei's quick development, so attacked and kicked Liu Bei out of his territory. Both Cao Cao and Liu Bei were furious by Lü Bu's temperamental. Cao Cao and Liu Bei joined their forces together and laid siege to Xiapi city. Lü Bu bravely defended the city for 3 months. At one point, Cao Cao even considered to give up the campaign. A brilliant idea was proposed by Guo Jia, who was considered as the best military advisor at the time. He suggested Cao Cao direct the river of Yi and Si to flood Xiapi city, which changed the war. Lü Bu betrayed many people many times in his life, but in the end he was betrayed by his own subordinates. He was extremely fatigued from all the endless fight. He took a nap in a chair. His followers hid his weapon Fang Tian Hua Ji, took away his famous horse Chi Tu, untied him up with a rope and brought him before Cao Cao. Lü Bu begged for mercy. He tried to convince Cao Cao. Cao Cao asked Liu Bei's opinion. Liu Bei reminded Cao Cao what happened to Lü Bu's previous masters. Cao Cao then had Lü Bu executed by hanging. It's like it wasn't enough for all the hate. His dead body was decapitated later. To Chinese, death without a whole, complete body is the worst thing that can happen to a person. Cao Cao buried Lü Bu's body right away but sent his head back to his capital city, Xuchang, a normal man hiding an Iron Man suit. When I review the life of Lü Bu, I think if we take away Lü Bu's battling skills, he was just a very normal person. I always picture Lü Bu as a little boy who hid inside of an Iron Man suit. This also reminds me that what makes Iron Man is not the suit. The suit is a weapon, but what you can achieve with the weapon depends on you. I've met the strongest man with the weakest heart. If Lü Bu was born in a peaceful time, I think he could end up a lot better. He would still join the army because of his talent. He would probably fight some bandits or thieves, and he would enjoy a lot better. Unfortunately, Lü Bu was born in this age of chaos. He was competing with the best minds and the most ambitious warlords. His mind and heart were clearly no match for them. I believe deep down in Lü Bu's heart, he still thinks himself as an official of the Han Dynasty. In order to survive in this chaotic period, he did many bad things which gained him the infamy of frivolous and temperamental, but he's still loyal to the Han Emperor. I like tyrants such as Dong Zhuo and Cao Cao, great warlords such as Liu Bei, Yuan Shao, and Sun Jian. Lü Bu didn't have the big dream to be the overlord of China. He just wanted to survive and to be respected, and if possible, to be promoted by the imperial government. We know Lü Bu killed his first master Ding Yuan. However, there's one thing I want to point out. Ding Yuan's followers, including the valiant generals such as Zhang Liao, Gao Shun, and Zhang Yang, have surrounded to Dong Zhuo right after Ding Yuan was killed. This was very abnormal in ancient China, especially in the Age of Three Kingdoms. I believe it indicates that Ding Yuan was already deserted by his followers before he was killed by Lü Bu. Anyone could have done it. Lü Bu was the one who did it simply because he was the best, so the job was assigned to him. The other thing is Dong Zhuo's image at the time was not a tyrant like what it was later. He was considered as a very able and loyal general who was known for his strength, archery skills, and a chivalrous spirit. For many years, he was sent around across China by the imperial government to suppress uprisings and rebels. He was the good guy, but Ding Yuan, as his enemy, was the bad guy at the time. Later, Lü Bu also killed his second master Dong Zhuo, but I think everybody would agree that Dong Zhuo deserved to die, because he became a tyrant. Anyway, Lü Bu gained infamy of a master and a father killer because of the killing of Dong Zhuo and Ding Yuan. We know it now, in fact, it was not as evil as we thought. Lü Bu said this to Liu Bei when they meet in the state of Xu. When I saw the coalition warlords rising up against Dong Zhuo, I already wanted to help them eliminate him. However, after I slew Dong Zhuo and left Chang'an, none of those former coalition members was willing to accept me. They even tried to kill me. I believe those words were from his heart. This was what happened to him from his perspective. After Dong Zhuo, Cao Cao controlled the emperor and the imperial government. To many people, he was a new tyrant. So when some of Cao Cao's followers started a rebellion and invited Lü Bu to fight Cao Cao, from his perspective, he was doing something right for the Han dynasty. Therefore, he agreed and fought hard. He was defeated by Cao Cao because he was not an adventurist who would do anything to win. As previously mentioned, food supply was a big problem for both sides in the Battle of Yan because of the locust plague. Cao Cao's army allegedly not only robbed civilians, but also even killed civilians and used their flesh as food. One of Cao Cao's famous advisors, Cheng Yu, maintained the cannibalism his entire life, which I believe is a proof that at one point they did eat human. Later in Xu state, Lü Bu did betray Liu Bei, which no doubt is the end of his life, and he shouldn't have done that. But some people don't know was that Liu Bei was appointed as the leader by the previous state governor Tao Qian. The internal conflicts were a big problem even when Tao Qian was alive. So Liu Bei being the leader of Xu is more of a compromised choice. I don't think Liu Bei had enough time to realize it and get everything in order, because Yuan Shu's army came too quickly. This caused the betrayal of a local leading general Cao Bao, which led to Cao Bao's son-in-law Lü Bu took over the city and further the whole state. Please note, there was no rebellion of any sort to Lü Bu's ruling. I think it explains a lot. Lü Bu was temperamental. He was not a good person. My point is not to change that. I just want to tell you that take away his battling skill, he's always that normal boy who born in a normal family, trying to survive in a chaotic world among all the ambitious warlords who are much smarter than him.